The sun burned fiercely over the small Kenyan village of Kaptagat, its heat pressing down on the dusty paths. Kamau sat at the back of a lecture hall at Moi University, his notebook untouched. His stomach growled, but his mind was on his father, Kamau's father, lying in a hospital bed with a persistent cough. The hospital bill was 80,000 shillings, but Kamau's account held only 1,500. His mother's tearful voice echoed, "We need you. Do something." After class, Kamau trudged back to his hostel, his worn-out sandals kicking up dust. His roommate, Juma, was sprawled on his bed, scrolling through his iPhone, dressed in a crisp shirt. "Bro, you look like a ghost," Juma said, tossing his phone aside. "When last did you eat?" Kamau shook his head. "No cash. My father's hospital bill," his voice trailed off. Juma sat up, eyes gleaming. "Listen, man, you can't keep starving. I know a guy, rich, clean, generous. One night, and you'll have enough to pay that bill and more." After pacing his room for hours, Kamau muttered, "Just once. For my father." That night, a sleek Range Rover pulled up outside the hostel at 11 p.m. Juma handed him a crisp white shirt and black dress shoes that felt foreign on his feet. "Relax, he's cool," Juma said. The man in the car, Wilson Kiptoo, smiled. "You're even better than described," he said, his voice smooth. Kamau nodded, throat tight. They drove to a secluded lodge on the outskirts of Eldoret, its walls hidden behind high bougainvillea hedges. Wilson Kiptoo booked a penthouse suite. He offered Kamau a glass of soda. "Relax, I'm not a monster," he said with a smile. Kamau sipped the drink, and the night blurred into fragments he couldn't piece together. Morning came, and Kamau woke alone in the plush room. On the bedside table was an envelope with 600,000 shillings and a note, "Take care of your father. I'll find you if I need you again." Tears fell as he paid the hospital bill that day. His father's treatment began, and for the first time in months, Kamau felt hope. A month later, the young man felt wrong. An itch, then a foul smell, like rotting meat. Sharp pain stabbed his lower abdomen. He visited a clinic in Eldoret, where a nurse prescribed antibiotics. They didn't work. 2 weeks later, his underwear was damp with a dark fluid. One evening, in the hostel bathroom, he froze in horror, collapsing against the tiled wall. He woke in a hospital bed, fluorescent lights harsh above. His roommate, a 23-year-old Kenyan man with a broad face, wide nose, deep-set dark brown eyes, and a gold-capped tooth, with short dreadlocks with blonde tips, wearing a fitted red polo shirt, blue jeans, white sneakers with red laces, and a silver chain necklace, stood nearby, face pale. "What happened?" the roommate asked, voice unsteady. "I saw something," the young man whispered. The nurse frowned, confused, but the roommate's eyes flickered with guilt, turning away. Tests came back negative, STD, ultrasound, blood, all clear. Yet he knew something was wrong. That night, alone in the bathroom, the pain returned, sharper, like a blade. He confronted his roommate. "You said he was clean." The roommate whispered, "I didn't know he still does that. Some guys who went with him got sick. Strange things. I thought he'd stopped." The young man's fist connected with his roommate's jaw. "You sold me." Desperate, the young man sought a 67-year-old Kenyan woman with a round face, small upturned nose, deep-set brown eyes, and wrinkled cheeks, with short grey cornrows under a white headscarf with ash streaks, wearing a long white robe with beaded hem, barefoot, in a nearby village. She sat on a woven mat, face painted with white ash. "You carried darkness that night," she said. "Your body was used. You must face him. But first, cleansing. 3 nights in the sacred river, Nyamindi, she said. He nodded, determination hardening his fear. At 3 a.m., he, the woman, and her assistant, a 34-year-old Kenyan woman with a heart-shaped face, small pointed nose, almond-shaped hazel eyes, and smooth skin with a faint chin scar, with long red braids tied in a bun, wearing a brown ankle-length dress with short sleeves, holding a woven basket, walked a forest path to Nyamindi River, carrying a calabash and palm oil. The woman chanted, and the water rippled. Step in, she instructed. The young man waded into the icy water, shaking. She tossed an egg into the river, saying, if his essence was stolen, let the river show it. The egg cracked, spilling black ooze. It's true, she gasped. His life force was buried. She swept the water with a palm frond broom, and he screamed as fire seemed to burn through his core. A voice echoed, return the price, or the curse remains. Kamau fell to his knees. What price? I don't know his name. Mama Wairimu's eyes darkened. Ask the one who took you to him. Back at the hostel, Kamau cornered Juma. His name. Now. Juma scribbled, Wilson Kiptoo. Kamau searched online but found nothing. Juma whispered, he has a private estate near Aitan. It's dangerous. Kamau borrowed a cap and jacket, took a matatu to Aitan, and found the estate, gleaming mansions behind high walls. A tea vendor pointed out a fortified compound. That's his place. Strange things happen there. At the gate, Guard 1 and Guard 2 towered over Kamau. No appointment, no entry, Guard 1 growled, shoving him back. Defeated, Kamau returned to the hostel. That night, he woke screaming from a nightmare, crawling creatures in a locked cage, Wilson Kiptoo laughing, saying, I own your future. He clutched a Bible, whispering, this is war. Far away, in a walled compound, Wilson Kiptoo sat by a fire, a carved staff in hand. He poured libations into a clay pot and muttered, he's awake. Let him come. He smiled into the darkness. By dawn, Kamau was back at the village compound of Mama Wairimu. She was waiting, face grim. He knows you're hunting him, she said. The shadows are closing in. Kamau's resolve hardened. Mama Wairimu handed him a small pouch of herbs and ash, instructing him to sprinkle it at Wilson Kiptoo's gate at midnight. This will weaken his protection, she said. Kamau nodded, clutching the pouch like a lifeline, his heart pounding with both fear and purpose. That night, under a moonless sky, Kamau returned to the Aitan estate. He crept past sleeping dogs, avoiding the guards' flashlight beams. At the gate, he scattered the herbs, whispering Mama Wairimu's chant. A sudden wind howled, and the gate creaked slightly, as if the spirits were listening. The next day, Kamau learned from the tea vendor that Wilson Kiptoo was hosting a political gathering at his lodge that evening. It's your chance, she whispered, slipping him a worker's pass she'd found. Kamau disguised himself in a borrowed waiter's uniform, his hands trembling as he tucked the pass into his pocket. At the lodge, Kamau slipped through the bustling crowd of politicians and aides, carrying a tray of drinks. He spotted Wilson Kiptoo near a grand staircase, laughing with guests. Kamau approached, heart racing, and accidentally spilled a drink, causing a commotion. In the chaos, he followed Wilson Kiptoo to a private room, locking the door behind them. Return what you took, Kamau demanded, his voice steady despite his fear. Wilson Kiptoo's smile faded, his eyes narrowing. You're stronger than the others, he sneered, but his hand twitched toward a hidden knife. Kamau lunged, knocking the knife away, and a struggle ensued. A cut on Wilson Kiptoo's hand dripped blood onto the floor, and a strange hum filled the air, as if the ground itself reacted. Mama Wairimu's words echoed, his blood must touch the oath's soil. Kamau dragged Wilson Kiptoo to the estate's garden, where Mama Wairimu and Nazirian waited, having followed in secret. They chanted, and the ground trembled as Wilson Kiptoo's blood seeped into the soil. A blinding light flashed, and Kamau felt a weight lift from his body. The curse was broken. Wilson Kiptoo collapsed, weakened, as Kamau stood tall, finally free. If you enjoyed the tales, kindly press the bell icon, like.